This conference will now be recorded.
Is my voice audible? Are you able to hear? Okay. All right. Okay, fine. Okay. So yesterday we started with the question. We actually were working on the problem. Okay. I'm not wrong. Okay. That is this particular problem. That is, we purchased goods from Alpha Traders Bangalore. Okay, and we passed this transaction, and we did also the payments for these particular transactions. Now, the same way we have the another question over here. Okay, that is on 1st May 21. Okay, we are purchasing goods from Beta Traders, Goa. Okay, from Goa, we are purchasing the goods. That Beta Traders GST number is so and so, and this is the invoice number of that particular Beta Traders. So now, whatever the goods that I am purchasing, whatever the stock that I'm purchasing here, that is Acer laptop and Dell computers, that I'm storing it in Godown Unit 2. And later on May 31st, we are making the payments by HDFC bank account with the check number so and so. Okay, so now this is the transaction that we have to work on. This is a question now, and we have to work on this particular transaction now. Okay, so we go to vouchers and we open purchase voucher. Right now, the first thing that we have to do is change the date. So the transaction date in the question is on 1st May 21. That is our transaction date. The 1st May 21. So 1/5/21. Next, supplier invoice number. Can anyone tell me what is the invoice number in this question? Okay, 5263. Okay, so this is the invoice number. So 5263. So date, as usual, whatever the date you have entered, that is the same date that will be there. Now, party account name. Okay, for this party account name, here what do we enter for the party account name?
Beta Traders.
Okay, so Beta Traders. He is a party from whom we are purchasing the stock from. Okay, so I don't have Beta Traders. If you see on the right hand side of the screen, I don't have the Beta Traders ledger, so I can create it. Okay, so Beta Traders. So as usual, okay, he's a supplier, so all suppliers are on sundry creditor. Maintain balance bill by bill. This have to make it as yes. Why I make it as yes is because to activate the 4 different types of bills, the new reference and the against reference and the others. Now the state of this Beta Traders is Goa. Okay, this Beta Traders is from the state Goa here. So what I have to do is I have to select the change the state over here to Goa. It will be India itself, and pin code I'm not entered. There's no need to enter it. It's fine. Next, I have to enter his GSTN number. So the GSTN number of this Beta Traders is so and so. Okay. So this, since he's in Goa, the state code will start with 30. Okay. That is, as you can see here, Goa, the state code is 30. So that is why his GSTN number started with the state code 30. Okay, so we'll enter the same GSTN number here, 30. Okay, this is his GSTN number. So this is also a dummy GSTN number. So that is why you get this warning at the right hand side. No problem with that since it's a dummy one. I just saved it. Now, after we enter the party account name, that is after we enter Beta Traders, what is the next thing that we have? That is after I press the enter key, you get the screen. Okay, on the screen, what you just do, we don't enter any details. So what we have to do is what we have to do on the screen. Do we enter anything here, or we just save it and go to the next? We just save the screen and we go to the next, or you just either press enter, enter, enter and go, or just press Control A and you go to the next screen. So on the next screen, it will show again the party details. That is the beta traders details, whatever you have entered. It is just for the confirmation kind of thing. You can, if you want, you can make the changes, and I save it. Next, purchase ledger. So yesterday we already created the ledger here as purchase of goods. Okay, we can select the same ledger itself because we are purchasing the goods itself. So there's no need to create another ledger. So since it's the purchase of goods itself, so I select purchase of goods. Tax classification detail. What is this tax classification detail? What do we select here? See, we are purchasing the goods from beta traders who's from Goa and we are in Karnataka. Okay, so at that point of time, what is going to be the tax classification for this problem? What do we select here in this? Come on, girls, answer. Answer. Which one will I select? Which option?
Interstate purchase taxable.
That's right, interstate purchase taxable. Why interstate purchase taxable? For what purpose? Why interstate purchase taxable?
Out of the state, Goa.
Because it's in Goa, out of the state.
That's right. So we select interstate purchase taxable. Now we'll select the items. So the first item that I'm purchasing is Acer laptops. Okay, so first I select here as Acer laptops. Now it asks me for the go down. So the go down I'll select as unit 2 because in the question itself I have given as unit 2 as a go down. So I select unit 2. Okay. Now the quantity. The quantity is 6 numbers at rupees 45,000 each. 6 numbers at rupees 45,000. So 6, 45,000. So 6 into 45, 2,70,000. Okay. Now enter. Now we have one more stock item that is Dell computers. Okay, but Dell computers I do not have yet. You see on the right hand side, we have not created Dell computers as a stock item at all. It says Acer laptops, Camlin notebooks, Classmate books, and LG TV itself. But there is no Dell computers. Okay, the same procedure we can create. That is by pressing Alt C, you can create, or you can go here and click on this option, create, and you can create it, or you can go to this go to option as well. Anything is fine. Okay, so let's create Dell computers. Okay, this Dell computers will come under desktops. It will come under computer. I'll put this also in numbers. It is applicable. Yes. Okay, so I enter these details over here. Okay, description, rules. I just a number on value taxable, and it will be the same 18% itself. Okay, all the computers and laptops. Okay, the same procedure. How we created the stock item, the same way I'm doing for this as well. Okay, description, HSN number, calculation type, taxability, and the tax rate. I enter it over here. Okay, now I save, and again I save. So I'll have my Dell computers created. Now the same procedure, I enter, I get my go downs. So in the same question, all my stocks are stored in unit 2 itself. So I select unit 2. Now coming to the quantity and the amount. So 8 numbers of Dell computers at rupees 50,000 each. 50,000 each. Numbers at 50,000 each. Okay, so 50,000 into 8, 4 lakh. Okay, so there's only 2 items, stock items that I'm purchasing, that is Acer laptops and Dell computers. Now what is our next step? What do we do here after we enter all the stock items?
We have to press 2 times enter.
That's right, the enter key has to be pressed 2 times. That is, we have the total amount present here 6,70,000, and also at the bottom we have 6,70,000. So the GST has to be calculated after this total, which is on the top, 6,70,000. So what we have to do is we have to press the enter key 2 times so that it comes below this total amount. So I press the enter and enter. There you have it. Okay, so 2 times enter key is pressed and you will get that. Now since we have selected interstate purchase taxable and this person beta traders is from Goa and we are from Karnataka, we have to select IGST. When I select IGST, automatically the tax is calculated. Okay, 1,20,600. Suppose by mistake, if you select it as CGST, C does not calculate the tax. Okay, or suppose SGST, it does not calculate the tax. Okay, so what if you have to add CGST and SGST, that time what you have to do is here in this tax classification you have to do purchase taxable. Only then it will calculate CGST and SGST. Now see, IGST is not calculated, CGST and SGST is calculated. Okay, so this is very important. So we are doing an interstate purchase taxable, that is IGST. So we select IGST there, and in IGST I get the tax. No need of CGST and no need of SGST. There's only IGST. Okay, next. Next, you have the e-way bill. Why? Because it is more than 50,000 over here. The total amount, it is coming up to 7,90,600. So if I make e-way bill, yes, you have all the details to be entered in the e-way bill, consignor details, transporting details, and things. I just skip this, so I just save it. Next, what do we select here? What type of bill will be selected for this?
New reference.
New reference. New reference bill will be selected, correct? Okay, since it's a credit transaction, and this person, let's say he's giving 30 days time period. That is, within 30 days, I have to make a payment to this person. So when I say 30 days, okay, by 31st May, we have to pay. Okay, because in the question also it says here, you see, on 31st May, we are doing the payments. That's what it says in the question as well. So 30 days time period is giving. So it is 31st May 21. The payment has to be cleared for this person. So I save this transaction and I write being goods purchased on credit. Okay. This is how we pass the transaction. Same way, yesterday we passed the transaction for a single stock item. Today, what we're doing, we are passing for 2 stock items with IGST as the tax rate. Okay. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, what is our next step? Okay. As I said, first part of the question is completed. Now the second part of the question is remaining. What do we do with the second part of the question? Where do we pass this transaction in?
Payment voucher.
Payment voucher. Okay, so I press F5, come to payment. Now, first I change the date. So as you can see, the payment is made on 31st May 21. 31st May 21. Now, what will be the entry? Here we are paying by HDFC Bank. Okay, so what is going to be the entry? What will be on the debit side? What is going to come on the credit side? What will you get on the debit and what is come on the credit? Hmm?
Beta traders debit.
And credit?
HDFC account.
That's right. Okay, so beta traders. So have beta traders here. So the amount that has to be paid, you have it over here, 7,90,600. Okay. Suppose now, let's say for example, I forgot to do the payments for this particular person. Okay, let's say I forgot. It's been so many days. Okay, and I forgot that I have to do a payment for. Okay, this thing I have not passed the transaction. Okay, but I want to know how much is the amount that I have to pay. Okay, what is the amount that what is the pending amount to be paid to the beta traders? Where do you go and check? That is basically we call it as bills payables. All the payables, okay, where we have to pay to beta traders, right? All the payables, where do you think we go and check and tally to whom how much we have to pay, what is the amount that has to be paid, by what date it has to be paid? Where do we check all these details? Can anyone tell me? In tally. All your payables and all your receivables, that is to whom how much you have to pay and things. Where do we find that? Anyone? Because this transaction I have not passed. Let's say I forgot to pass this entry, the payment made to by HDFC Bank. This entry I forgot to enter, or let's say I forgot to pay to this person beta traders. So which or where do we go and check for that? Okay, display more reports. Okay, next where? Display more reports, correct. One of you said was display more reports, that is correct. Next, where it is? In Tally Prime and EAP9 is the same procedure. That is why I'm asking you.
Statement of account.
Fantastic. Statements of accounts. Okay, and here you have outstandings, and there you have receivables and payables. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to see what is the amount that has to be paid. So I go to payables, and there I have. Okay, see on 1st May I did this transaction from beta traders. Amount pending is 7,90,600. The due date is on 31st May 21. Okay, so this is a place where you come and check for the payables and the receivables. Okay, so same step what you did in ARP9 and Prime. So gateway of Tally display more reports, statements of accounts, outstanding and payables. This is where you come and check. Okay, now let's go past the entry. Go to vouchers, payment voucher. Okay, so I'm passing this transaction on 31st May 21. So as one of you said, beta traders, see that pending amount 7,90,600, and I select what bill here. New reference.
Against reference.
Fantastic. Against reference bill you select, and it will show you the pending bill amount 5260. That is also the invoice number and the amount that you're paying. And let's say you're paying by HDFC Bank. Now after entering HDFC bank account and the amount, okay, you get this screen here. Okay, on this screen, what do? What happens in this particular screen after you select HDFC bank?
You have to fill the check number.
Yes, or next to which option? Next to which option do you fill the check number? Where is the check number entered here on the screen? Hmm? Fine. The check number will be entered over here. INSTNO. INSTNO means to say instrument number, or basically call it as check number. Okay. So here the check number will be entered. So in the question, the check number I have placed here, that is 456123. Okay, 258. 456123258. So this is the check number that I'm entering it here. Got it? So when you're making the payments by check, okay, the check number always has to be entered in the instrument number field, that is INSTNO field, that is check number field. Okay, and the narration being payment made for the purchases. Okay, any doubts? Any doubts still here?
No, sir.
Oh, fantastic. Now let's come back to the daybook. Yeah, and let's open the transactions. Okay, now the beta trader transaction I'll open now. Now what I want to do is, now if you see here in this transaction, I have passed this stock items and these amounts and the quantities, everything is done, and also the IGST also is calculated. Now what I want to do now is, okay, this IGST, this tax, what it is calculated, I want to see whether it is calculated for both the items or only one item. Okay, but if what I mean to say is, if you see the question, I have if you see in this transaction what we did, okay, we have two stock items, but we are not sure whether the tax is being calculated for both these stock items. It is just showing the tax amount here, but I have to be 100% sure whether the tax has been calculated for both these items. Okay, for that, what we do is, you have this option here called as more details. On the right hand side, you see there, or you can see the option called more details. That is basically Control I. Okay, so when I press Control I get a screen like this. Go to this option which is called as tax analysis, GST tax analysis. Okay, now on the next screen, when you have this, okay, you have to get the details. Now if you have to, now yesterday I told you one shortcut key. If you have to get the reports in detailed or condensed, okay, you want to see the transaction in detailed way or in condensed way, for that I told one shortcut key. What was that shortcut key?
Alt F1.
Fantastic. Alt F1. So when I press Alt F1 here, now you can see, it's a laptop, the item, and on the right hand side you can see the tax rate. So when you get like this, that means to say the tax has been calculated for these items. Okay, 18% for this item and 18% for this Dell Computers item. Okay, suppose if there is no tax rate here, that means to say this item is not taxed. That means there's some error in our transaction. Okay, so this is how you come and check for the tax if it is calculated for all the stock items that you have. Okay, again I'll repeat. So from this transaction screen, you press Alt Control I for more details. Go to GST tax analysis on the next screen, and when you come to this particular screen, you have to press Alt F1. Then you have this answer. Then you will get to see here whether the tax has been added for the Acer laptops 18%, Dell computers 18%. So this is how you check it. Okay, just for the confirmation, just to make sure whether the tax has been calculated for all the stocks. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, now any doubts in this purchase transaction? We did two different types of purchase transaction: CGST, SGST, and also IGST transaction. Any doubts in this? So we shall proceed now next. So once we are done with the purchase transaction, now let's say now we are purchasing the goods, okay, and we have to return it back to the supplier. Why I have to return back means to say I have some damaged goods, or there's some goods which are not proper. Okay, it's been damaged. Okay, at that point of time, we use the debit note voucher. What was the shortcut key for debit note voucher? In Tally Prime, what is the shortcut key which I told you before?
Alt F5.
Yes,
Alt
Alt
F5.
F5. Fantastic. Alt F5. Alt F5 is a shortcut key for debit note voucher. Okay. So in debit note voucher, what are the goods that I purchase? If I have to return it back, since it is damaged, or if I have some overstock, or by mistake I have ordered some wrong stocks or wrong quantities, at that point of time I use this debit note voucher in order to return back to the supplier. So now tell me, this debit note voucher, is it done before the payments or after the payment is done? When is the debit note voucher prepared?
Before the
Is it
payment.
fantastic? That's right. Okay, so debit note voucher is basically used whenever you are after you purchase and before you make any payment, you find out there's some damaged goods at that particular time. Use this debit note voucher. That's what it says here. Okay, goods rejected by us to the supplier as debit note voucher. Basically, we call it as a purchase returns voucher. For example, if you have purchased stock item on credit basis, and after you purchase, if you are returning some stock, this transaction is set as purchase and will be entered in debit note voucher. For example, if I have to give one more example, I purchased 10 numbers of computers. In that 10 numbers, 3 numbers are damaged. Okay, so this 10 numbers I do it in purchase voucher. 3 numbers I enter it in a debit note voucher, and finally the 7 numbers for the remaining items I pass it in the payment voucher. So basically we pass 3 vouchers for this particular transaction. Okay, right? This is of your debit note voucher. That is basically your purchase returns voucher. Okay, now let's take the same question what we did here. So I'll just make some small alterations for it. Okay, yeah. Right now, let's say on 1st April, okay, on 1st April, I'm put 2021. I'm purchasing the goods from Beta Traders itself. Okay, same Beta Traders I'm using. Okay, his GST number is so and so. Invoice number for this I will change. This is his invoice number, and go down. I'll put it as unit 3. Okay, this I'm purchasing from Beta Traders. Okay, next, what I'll do is on 2nd April, okay, that is 2021. Okay, returned the damaged goods. We are returning back the damaged goods. Okay, that is how many numbers of goods? That is first Acer laptops. I'm returning back, let's say 2 numbers. Next, Dell computers. I'm returning back, let's say 3 numbers because it is damaged. Okay. Next, on let's say 2nd April itself, made payment by cash. Okay, now this is the question that we have. Okay, so what happens here is on 1st April 2021, we are purchasing the goods, okay, from Beta Traders itself. Is the same GST number what we used for the previous transaction. Invoice number is so and so, and the go down which we are storing it is in unit 3. So we are purchasing Acer laptop 6 numbers, Dell computers 8 numbers. So on 2nd April, that is on the next day, what we're doing is we are returning back the damaged goods. That is 2 numbers of Acer laptops and 3 numbers of Dell computers. And finally, on the same date itself, we are making the payment by cash. Previously, we paid him by HDFC Bank. Now, what we are doing is we are paying this person by cash. Okay. So, what we do is first, as usual, how we pass a purchase voucher transaction, same way we will pass it. Okay, that is this particular part of it is the full purchase voucher entry. This whole thing I have to pass the purchase voucher. So let's go to this transaction. So F9 purchase voucher. So let's change the date. So the date is on 1st April 21. Now the supplier number that I have entered here is invoice number. That supplier invoice number is 50000. This is the invoice number. Party account name, it's the same Beta Traders itself. So I have to select only Beta Traders, which I've already created. So I select it from the right hand side, Beta Traders. On the screen, I save it twice. So as usual, how we do the purchase voucher transaction, same way I'm following. There's no changes in this. The same procedure I work on. Purchase of goods. Okay. So this Beta Traders is from Goa itself. Okay, so it will be as interstate purchase taxable. Now, Acer laptops. So the go down, this time it is being changed. That is unit 3. Unit 3 is a go down there where we are storing the stocks. Quantity of Acer laptop is 6 numbers at 45,000. Okay, same way for the Dell computers. Unit 3, 8 numbers, 50,000. Okay, enter. IGST. Then you have the invoice thing. So you select here as new reference, and it's giving 30 days time period. Okay, I'm just putting this 30 days by default, just normally I'm just putting. Okay, enter. So the goods purchased on credit. Fine, right? Any mistake have I done? Is it correct? Have I done the procedure correctly? Have I passed this purchase transaction correctly over here? Any mistake done in this transaction? Okay, so what we do now is I save this transaction. Now the first part of the transaction is completed. Okay, that is what do I highlighted here. All this thing is already done and completed. Now coming to the second part of the transaction, that is this part. This whole thing, the part is the second part of this transaction here. Okay. Now on 2nd April 21, we are returning the damaged goods. Acer laptop 2 numbers, Dell computers 3 numbers. So since we are returning back the damaged goods, we have to pass it in the debit note voucher. Yes, debit note voucher. Okay, okay, so that is Alt F5. Now I change the date. So on 2nd April, I am returning it back. So 2nd April, I enter. Now party account. So it's the same party. So beta traders. I save the screen. Again, I save this. Okay. Ledger account. So here, what we can do here is, okay, we can use the same ledger here. What we have here, purchase of goods, right? The same ledger we can use, or we can also create one more ledger called as purchase returns. Okay, in order to keep a track of how much of the stock that we are returning, that is what we are purchasing and returning, we can enter this as, like, create a ledger as purchase returns ledger. Okay, so I create here as purchase returns. So this will be under same purchase account itself. No other changes to be done, and I save it. Okay, got it. So what I did was I selected the same party name, Beta Traders, ledger account name, purchase returns ledger I have created in order to keep a track of how much of goods that are being returned back. I enter this create a ledger over here. Now I press the enter key. Now what we created before, what we selected before, interstate purchase taxable, the same way I select over here. Okay, interstate purchase taxable. Now Acer laptops. How many of Acer laptops you are returning back? 2 numbers. Now when I press the go down, because in the question I have not given the go down at all. Okay, in the second part of the question I have not given. The first part I have given for purchasing, I have given and I have stored it in unit 3. But if you see in the second part of the question, I have not entered the go down name, but I have entered only the stock item name, stock item and the numbers. So what do you think, or which go down do you think we have to select for this?
Main location. Unit 3.
Unit 3 itself. Okay, so we have purchased from this party. So it is, so which go down we purchased and stored it in, from that go down only we have to take it. But if you see in unit 2 also you have and unit 3 also you have, but the purchases when we made, we purchased and we stored it in unit 3 go down. So that is why I select unit 3 here. Okay, so unit 3, the quantity, how much we are returning back, Acer laptops, 2 numbers we are returning. So I just enter 2 here and automatically it will show the rate. There's no need to do any changes. I proceed. Same way for the Dell computers. So even Dell computers also was in unit 3 that I stored in. Now the quantity of Dell computers is 3 numbers. So I put 3, the rate is automatically shown. Okay. Now enter, enter. IGST. Okay. Any doubts in this? Because whatever we did, if you had observed clearly, okay, whatever we did in this debit note voucher is the same way exactly what we did in purchase voucher. How you pass a purchase transaction in the same way you pass a debit note voucher. But there are only few changes that are made. You have to change the date will be changed. That is first. Second, what I did was I created a ledger here as purchase returns ledger. Okay. Next, what was the other change was the quantity. How much quantity you're returning back, only that will be changed. Apart from that, everything is the same as you pass in the purchase voucher transaction. Okay. Now, what exactly we are doing in debit note voucher is that from the purchase voucher transaction, we are what we purchased, right, including the damaged goods and things. Okay, we have to minus it from the purchase voucher. Okay, so that is why we are using the debit note voucher. So in order to minus the total amount or the minus the stock that we have purchased, okay, since we are returning back, it has to be minus from the purchase voucher. So that is why we are passing the debit note voucher exactly as a purchase voucher, including the GSTs. Okay. Now, So after you enter the GST, the same way you will get the e-way as well. Okay, at your right left hand side you can see provide GST e-way details. If I make as yes, so there you have it. See, e-way details, the consignor details, that is from where you had got the goods. Okay, that is from means to say this is our details, this is our company details from where the goods are getting returned back to. Consignee means to say to whom it is going back to. You can see here as beta traders, it is going back to beta traders, and you have the transportation details, how it is going to get transported. Okay, this is an extra detail. This extra thing is the consignee details, everything is the extra thing that you have. Okay, I just save it. Okay, now tell me, what will you select here? Now what type of bill can be selected? As I said previously, this purchase voucher, from this purchase voucher, the amount and the quantities have to be deducted. That is, it has to be minused. So that's the reason why we are using the debit note voucher. Okay, so when you're minusing or when you're reducing it from the purchase voucher transaction thing, what bill can be selected for this? Think, come on. If someone has commented as new reference, a new reference is done for credit purchase or credit sales. Okay, here what is happening means to say, as I said, we have to reduce it. Okay, that means to say, okay, you have purchased 10 numbers. Okay, someone has said advance. Sorry, it is not advance as well. Advance means to say before you make any transaction, you're paying it. Here you're not paying. Okay, so it can't be against. On account. Okay, sorry, again you're wrong. On account also is wrong answer. On account means to say on the spot you're paying. Okay, so it is actually against reference bill. Okay, fine. So new reference bill you cannot select because we are not doing any credit purchase or credit sales. Okay, here what we're doing is what we purchase, we are returning it back. Okay, so we can't select new reference bill. Advance, as one of you said, we are not doing any payments here, or we are not receiving any payments. That is before the transaction. Okay, it just can't be as advance as well. On account, it can't be on account as well because we're not doing any payment on the spot, or when I'm doing it, I'm not doing any payment. So it is actually against reference bill. Okay, why I'm selecting against reference bill is, as I said, I'll repeat again, the purchase voucher transaction what we did. Okay, that purchase transaction amount has to be minused. Why? Because we are returning back the goods. So if you see in this question here, I'm saying this transaction in this debit note voucher transaction what we did, 2,83,200. This transaction what we have here, this amount has to be minus from our purchase voucher transaction. Now let's go to this day book and come. Okay, let's say, okay, from this screen I have to go to the day book. So what I do is I go to option, I go to day book. Okay, and I open this beta traders transaction what we did on 1st April. Okay, now if you see this beta traders transaction, the total amount is 7,90,600. Okay, so this 7,90,600 has to be minused. So what I do is I press escape. Okay, 7,90,600 has to be minused with this 2,29,200 because this much of stock is being returned back. So this amount 2,29,200 has to be minused from the purchase amount. Got it? So that is why what we do is we select here as against reference bill. Understood everyone? Okay. So when I select against reference, see, it shows 7,90,600. So this 2,29,200 has to be minus from this 7,90,600. Okay, everyone got it? Any doubts in this? Do you have any doubts in what I have explained just now? Okay, so being damaged goods returned back. That is how you pass this transaction. That is how I pass this entry. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask. So I guess you have no doubts, I guess. Okay, fine. Now what we'll do is we'll save this entry and we have to go to the final step. That is, you are making the payment by cash. This is a final step of the entry now. Okay, now go to the payment voucher. Okay, on the same date we are making the payment. So I select beta traders. You can see here the balance amount that it shows 5,61,000. Okay, previously it shows 7,60,000 change. Okay, in purchase voucher it shows 7 lakh change. Okay, and in debit note voucher we minus 2 lakh change. And finally you have the remaining amount as 5,60,000 which has to be paid. So 5,61,400. Again, what we do here is we select against reference bill and select the pending amount. You're paying by cash. So being payment made for the remaining stock. Any doubts, guys? You can ask any doubts, no problem with that. I'll give you some time. You can just see and you can ask your doubts.
Sir,
Yes.
uh, you told in educational mode only first and 31st date is allowed, but you have entered 2nd April. How, sir?
I said first, second, and 31st date. 3 dates I told.
Oh,
First,
okay, sir.
second, and 31st dates.
Okay.
Okay, I guess you have no other doubts in this. Okay, so we will proceed. Okay, now let's work on another problem. Okay, let's take one more question. Okay, and let's see who's able to do this. Okay, let's see now on 1st May 2021. Okay, okay, I will take the same this thing itself. We'll do some small changes with this. Okay. Let's come here. Okay, so as I was saying, so on 1st May 2021, purchase goods from Alpha Traders Bangalore, and this is the GST number and invoice number. Go down as unit 4. Okay, so LGTV 5 numbers he's purchasing at so and so. Okay, now next on 2nd May 21, return the damaged goods. Okay, so that will be LGTV 5 numbers. Okay, now can anyone tell me what are the vouchers that is used for this transaction, and when do we use this? What is the what is the vouchers that we use for this transaction? What is the first voucher used, and what is the second voucher?
And debit note.
Purchase voucher. Purchase
And
voucher,
debit.
sir.
Okay, first is purchase voucher. Next is
Debit.
second is
Debit. Debit.
Debit.
voucher.
okay, and third is
Payment.
Payment
and
not done.
okay. For the one who said payment voucher, no, we can't do payment. For what will you do the payment? Okay, if you see here, we are purchasing 5 numbers of LGTV. Okay, 5 numbers of LGTV is purchased. Okay, the same 5 number is being returned back. So that is why there's no payments in this voucher. So this first we have only purchase voucher, and then you have the debit note voucher. If you want, let's try doing the sum, and you will know if you do the payment voucher also, see what exactly happens. Okay, so now let's say we go to this purchase voucher, we change the date 1/5/21. Okay, invoice number I gave you is alpha 12525. Okay, party name is Alpha Traders. Okay, and purchase of goods. Okay, so yeah, first we'll see which state. Yeah, is in Bangalore itself. So it is Karnataka. So it is intrastate. That is purchase taxable. So LGTV. So go down is unit 4. If I'm not wrong, yes, unit 4. 5 numbers at 15,000. Okay. So only one item. So enter SGST, CGST. Okay. Taxes calculated. Okay. So it is above 50,000. I save it. New reference bill. Okay, let's say it's giving us 10 days time. So being okay, one second. Okay. Okay, narration. We'll give it later. No, so new reference bill. So being goods purchased on credit. Okay, I save. Now again debit note voucher. Okay, so we are returning back the damaged goods on the next date, that is 2nd May. So Alpha Traders purchase returns, purchase taxable, LGTB. So we stored it in unit 4, so same unit 4 itself we will select, and we're returning back 5 numbers. The whole thing we are returning back. Okay, and SGST, CGST. Okay, the same way how we did our purchase transaction, same way I'm doing here. See, against reference bills also I'm selecting here, and being damaged goods return. Oh, come on, 1 second. LG. Okay, so being damaged goods return back. So I save this transaction. Now, if we come to the payment voucher and check, okay, so alpha traders, you can see here there's no current balance at all. It shows as 0 because whatever the stock that I purchased, I had returned back to that same stocks I returned back to the same supplier. So that's the reason why there's no payment voucher at all. Okay, so whenever you are doing purchasing the stock, I mean return back all the same stocks at that particular time, we pass only the purchase voucher for this and debit note voucher for this. That's all. There's no payment voucher for this particular transaction. Okay, any doubt? If someone has any doubt, you can ask. Okay, so I guess no doubts in this. Okay, so this is how you pass your purchase voucher transaction and your debit note voucher transactions. This is how we do this. Okay, now let's go on. Okay, so next, so yeah, so we'll just from gateway of tally we'll go to the stock summary. Okay, as I said, stock summary is a place where you check all your stocks that you have purchased. Okay, so Alt F1 to get it in detailed or F5 and FIL. Okay, so these are the stocks that I have. So whatever the stocks I have, only those stocks I'll be able to use it, or basically I can do any kind of a sales transaction. Okay, because the next voucher that we are going to learn is your sales voucher transaction. Okay, sales voucher, that is whenever you want to sell your goods or want to sell your stock, okay, to the customers. At that particular time we use the sales voucher transaction. Okay, so it is a sales voucher also is the same procedure how you passed your purchase voucher transaction. Okay, if you understand the purchase voucher transaction, it will be very easy for you to work on the debit note sales and the other different vouchers. It is just small changes that has to be done. Okay, so the sales voucher transaction is prepared only when if you have the stocks in your company or you have the stocks in your godown. Okay, that is how you pass your sales voucher transaction. Okay, now so sales voucher transaction or the sales voucher shortcut key is F8. Okay, So only sale of stock item and GST calculation will be recorded. So as usual, what you saw in the purchase voucher definition, right? The same way it is the same definition here. But the only thing is that it's a sales definition. Okay, even in sales, you have the option to do the sales in cash, in bank, and also the credit sales as well. Okay, so when I come to this gateway of Tally, I go to this vouchers and I press F8. F8 is a shortcut key for the sales voucher. So even sales voucher, that is Control H when I press, will be working on the item invoice mode itself. Okay, we would have worked in voucher mode, that is particulars, debit and credit. But right now, what we will be doing is we'll be working on the item invoice mode. That is the same screen, the same mode screen which we worked on the purchase voucher, right? The same screen we work it over here in the sales voucher also. Okay, now so we'll start with a question. Do you have any doubts in the sales voucher? Do you want to ask any doubts or any clarification of the sales voucher? Okay, so no, all right, fine. Okay, now let's take a question. Now before, as I said, okay, let's say when I'm taking the question down, I'll open my stock summary. Why? Because only if the stock is present, I'll be able to do the sales. So what I'm doing is I'm going to gateway of Tally. I go open stock summary. Okay, Alt F1 and F5. Okay, now let's say that we will sell two stock items. Okay, one stock item is, let's say, the Acer laptop. Okay, and also the Dell computers. Acer laptop and Dell computers will start to sell. Now let's take the question as like this. Okay, on 1st June, let's take it as 2021 itself. On 1st June 2021, sold goods. Okay, sold goods to Charlie Traders Bangalore. One second, some mistake here. Okay, Charlie Traders Bank. Right. Next, what are the goods that I am selling? One is Acer laptops. So one is Acer laptops I'm selling. So Acer laptop, as you see here, I have totally 10 numbers. How I got this 10 numbers is in unit 2 I have 6 numbers and unit 3 I have 4 numbers. So 6 plus 4 is 10. So totally 10 numbers of Acer laptop I have. Okay, so from this I'm going to sell. Let's say I'm going to sell 3 numbers. Acer laptops, 3 numbers. Okay, at rupees. Okay, I had purchased it for 45,000. So can you tell me now, will my selling price be greater than purchase price or less than my purchase price? I purchased it for
Greater.
45. Yes, greater than. So I purchased it for 45,000. So it has to be greater than this. So what I'll put is, I just put it as 48,000. Okay, Acer laptops, 3 numbers, 48,000. Next, Dell computers. Also, I'm selling 3 numbers itself. Okay, at rupees. Okay, Dell computers I had purchased for 50,000. Let's say I'm selling it for 52,000. Next, okay, payment received on the next day. Okay, now this is my question. Okay, next day by cash. Okay, by cash I'm receiving the payment. Okay, so this is my question. Okay, so what I do is I go to my sales voucher. voucher, F8 and sales voucher. Now first I change the date. The date is on 1st June 21. Okay. Party account name. So sold goods to Charlie Traders, Bangalore. So I have to create here as Charlie Traders. So I go to create Charlie Traders. He'll come under sundry creditors. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Wrong. He'll be under sundry debtors.
Uh,
Okay, sundry creditors are suppliers. Okay, when we did the purchases, we purchase from sundry creditors. When we are selling, we sell it to the customers. So all the customers are considered as sundry debtors. Okay, don't get confused. Okay, when you are purchasing, you purchase from suppliers who are called as sundry creditors. And when you're selling, you sell it to customers who are called as sundry debtors. Okay, so I select that as sundry debtors. Same procedure, maintain balance bill by bill as. Okay, is in the same state, Karnataka. Okay, I have to enter the GSTN number in the question. I'm not entered, so I'm just giving a dummy GSTN number here. 29. Yeah, just give us a dummy the GSTN number. In the question, I'm not mentioned, so you can just take some dummy GSTN number. No problem with that. Okay, and I save. Fine. Okay. Again, I repeat. All the customers are considered as sundry debtors. He's a customer to us. He's buying from us, so he's a sundry debtor. So I select a sundry debtor, select the state, and I enter the GST number for him, and I save. That is how I create the ledger for this person. Now, next, the next thing that I have to do here is, okay, the same way after you do your purchase in your purchase transaction, after you select the party, okay, as Charlie Traders and thing, right? I'm say the party to whom you're selling. When you press enter key here as well, you'll get two screens. See, dispatch details. Okay, from us it is getting dispatched. From us it is going off. The goods are going out from us. So that's why we get as dispatch details. Okay, whereas when we get the purchase voucher, we get the receipt details. Okay, so dispatch details you get it here. There's no need to enter anything. Same procedure, how we did the purchase voucher, save it. And again, the party details you will have. Again, you just save this party details. There's nothing else to do in this. Okay. Okay, as you can observe, it is the same procedure what I'm doing. What I did in the purchase voucher, same way. Okay, there's only small changes that has to be done. Now, previously in purchase voucher, we had purchase ledger here, and we created purchase of goods. Now we are doing the sales. So we have sales ledger. So we are selling the goods. So what we can do is here we can create as sale of goods. Understanding everyone? Okay, sale of goods. It's the same procedure what I did for purchase. Same way I'm doing, following the in sales. Only the name is changing here. The sale of goods. What can we put here as the group under?
Sundry datas.
Hey, come on. That was for the supplier.
Sundry creditors.
Come on.
Sales.
Come on. Yes, sales
Sales.
accounts. Yes, sales account. Don't get confused. I know you're getting confused. Don't get confused. Okay, sales account. Okay, sundry debtors and sundry creditors are only used for the parties, only for the people, only for the person, only for the company from whom you're purchasing or selling. They are said as sundry creditors or sundry debtors. Okay, here what we are doing is we are doing creating a sales ledger. That is sale of goods. So automatically already you have here only I'm sorry, in this group you have a sales account itself. So it's a sales transaction, right? So it's a sales account. Previously when we did created purchase of goods, we selected purchase account. Here we are doing sales. So we are saying sales account. Okay, don't get confused. All right, applicable, and we are selling goods. Okay, this is what we enter. Got it? Okay, now. Okay, so after we enter the sale of goods, as usual, Here also you get the tax classification. So in this tax classification, you get the same kind of list. Okay, but when you did the purchase voucher transaction, you got as purchase taxable and interstate purchase taxable. Those are the things. Here also it's the same thing. Instead of purchase taxable, you put it as sales taxable. See, sales taxable is used for CGST and SGST, and for in purchase for interstate, for IGST we use, for purchase we use as interstate purchase taxable. But here what we'll do is we'll select as interstate sales taxable. See, only that purchase and sale, only that word is being changing. Others are all the same. Okay, again I repeat, when we did the purchase transaction for IGST, it was interstate purchase taxable. Now we are in sales. So in sales, if you're using IGST, it would be as interstate sales taxable. Same way, in purchase voucher, if you're using CGST and SGST, it is purchase taxable. Now we are using sales taxable because we are using SGST and CGST. Got it? Only that word sales and purchase is changing. Other than that, everything is the same. Okay. So this Charlie Traders is in Bangalore itself. So I'm selecting sales taxable, CGST, SGST. Any doubts till here, guys? Any confusions or any doubts you have, you can ask. Okay, I guess there's no doubts. So we'll proceed. Okay, now sales. Now we'll come to the name of the item. So what we are selling, Acer laptops, 3 numbers at 48,000. Acer laptops. Now, in the question, I have not mentioned the go down. As you can see in the question, there's no mention of any go down from where, which go down I'm selling or anything. Yeah. Okay. So what we have to do? Can anyone tell me? There's no go down mentioned here. So what can we do here? We are selling that to 3 numbers we are selling. So what we can do here? So which go down do you think I have to select? 3 numbers I'm selling. So which go down has to be selected? Main location. Okay, someone said main location, but if you see on the screen here, there's no main location at all. How can you say it is main location? It can't be main location. Any other answers? Come on, think. I am selling, as you can see, I am selling 3 numbers of Acer laptops. So, which go down will I select from here? Someone saying Jayanagar go down. Okay, sorry, you're wrong again. Why? Okay, fine. Jayanagar go down, you cannot select. I'll tell you why. And unit 4 also someone said you cannot select unit 4. Okay. Now I'll answer.
Unit 5.
2. Okay. Unit 2 someone said is right, but unit 5 no. Okay. I'll tell you why. Okay. If you see next to this go down number unit 2 and unit 3, you have this number here as 6 and 4. Okay. But in other go downs, what you have, you don't have the number here. Okay. If you see this number here, let's say it says 6 numbers in unit 2, that means in unit 2 you have this particular stock. In unit 3 also you have this particular number of stock. So let's say you are selling 3 numbers, right? So let's say someone said Jayanagar go down. So if I select Jayanagar go down, okay, as you said, if I select Jayanagar go down, and I'll put 3 numbers as here. Okay, observe here carefully. If I put here Jayanagar go down, and if I put here as 3 numbers, on the right hand side it will show you some error. Negative stock. Okay, what do you mean by this negative stock?
There is no stock in Jayanagar go down.
Fantastic. There's no stock in that particular go down. Okay, so as I said in the beginning, if you have to do the sales voucher, you have to see which godown you have the particular stocks present. Only that godown you can select. So I have it in my so I have it in my unit 2 and unit 3. Okay, how I know it is in unit 2 and unit 3 is because next to that it's entered here. It's here itself is the answer here. In unit 2 it has 6 numbers and unit 3 it has 4 numbers. So from here I can see and identify how much of stock is present, and that stock I can use it for the sales. Okay, since I'm selling 3 numbers, I can select any one of this. Okay, suppose if I'm selling 5 numbers, okay, can you tell me which one should I select? If I'm selling 5 numbers of stock, which of the godown which should I select among these two? If I'm selling
Unit 2.
entire
Unit
state,
2.
yes, because unit 2 has 6 numbers, unit 4 has 4, unit 3 has 4 numbers, so it is less than 5, so I cannot sell this. So I can take this and sell as 5 numbers. Understood? Okay, this is how you select a godown while you're doing the sales transaction. Okay, so since I'm selling 3 numbers, I can just select unit 3 itself. Okay, unit 3 or unit 4, unit 2, anything is fine, but I'm here what I'm doing is I'm selecting unit 3. Unit 3, 3 numbers. Now the rate I have to enter at 48,000. I am selling this Acer laptop. 48,000. Understood? Anyone has any doubts in this selection of godown in what I explained now? Does anyone have any doubts here? Okay, fine. So let's proceed. Okay, now same way for the Dell computers as well, I'll do the same thing. So Dell computers also I'm selling 3 numbers, okay, at 52,000 each. Dell computers 3 numbers, 52,000. So here also I can select unit 2 or unit 3. So let's say I select unit 2 itself, 3, okay, at rupees 52,000. Okay, enter, enter. Here also same procedure, enter, enter to add the GSTs, SGST, CGST. Got it? As you can see the screen, it is the same way how you did your purchase voucher transaction, same way I've entered here. Okay, only thing is sale of goods is changed and few things are changed here. Other than that, it's the same procedure how you pass in your purchase voucher itself. So enter. Okay, see you have the e-way details here. You can enter the e-way details. Okay, I save the screen. Now what will you select here?
New reference.
Yes, new reference. Okay, here there's no invoice. Okay, if you see the transaction, there's no invoice number or anything here, so it is the voucher number itself, number 1. So that is why here it is showing as number 1 here. Okay, if you want we can do the changes. Let's say sale to something like this. I put sale to Charlie, and I'm giving him 10 days time to make a payment. Okay, so by 11th June he has to pay. Okay, enter. So being goods sold on credit. Fine. Any doubts in this? Anyone? Anyone? Any doubts in this particular sales transaction?
No, sir.
Okay, so I save this. Now let's come back to the question. So this part of the question is done. As usual, the first part of the question is completed. Now what about the second part? Payment received on the next day by cash. So which voucher should be entered? Come on.
Receipt voucher.
Fantastic. We have to receive the amount. Money has to come into the business. Okay, so receipt voucher. Okay, so we are receiving the amount on the next day. So I change the date, 2nd June 21. Okay, so we have to receive the amount from Charlie Traders, that is 3,54,000. Enter. Same procedure, against reference bill you select. See, sale to Charlie, what I entered in my new reference, I get the bill here. I select it and I receive it by cash. So being amount received for the sales. Any doubts still here? Any doubts? Anyone? Do you have any doubts in this? Okay, so this is how you pass this transaction and you save the sales amount. Okay, so yeah, so we did the purchase debit note and also we did the sales. Okay, so again, tomorrow's session we will do again the sales voucher and one more voucher we will do it and complete it. Okay, and as you know, tomorrow will be the last class, right? I guess tomorrow is the last class. Okay, so if you have any doubts or any queries or you want to ask any questions and solve any issues related to Tally or anything, you can ask me anything, okay, in the next class. Okay, so tomorrow will be the last class. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can keep it and you can ask me in the next class. All right, fine. So thank you everyone. Okay, so have a great day.